Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. Quite a lot of juicy topics to talk about. It is the international break and it's going to juice up. It's absolutely going to juice up. I was going to start the conversation in regards to Nkunku post-match yesterday against Arsenal. There was news floating around that there's potentially some interest in Nkunku, but I'm going to start the story from Madueke, and we've got some talks in regards to Joao Felix as well. As I said, this is going to be a juicy news update, and you're going to love to hear what I'm about to say. And like always, I want to know what you guys have to say in the comments section. Smash the like button, guys. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, and let's get to 37,000 subscribers. So look, all of this stuff that we're going to discuss today, all of this stuff that we're going to go through today, I'm not one bit shocked. Because if you're someone who's following news about a particular club on a day-to-day basis, you see absolutely everything on a day-to-day basis, you can predict certain things. And I said it from the start of this season that, look, the squad's pretty big and there's a plethora of players that are potentially playing in same areas of the field. And this may not be an issue in the beginning because it's the new season and everyone's buzzing, everyone's looking to do well. But as the season progresses and certain players don't get enough minutes, soon you're going to start hearing, news and voices and whole heap of chaos all around social media, all around everywhere, news publications and whatnot. And this is the situation that we have right now. First up, Madueke, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Vincent, journalist who follows, who does a lot of Chelsea work. Madueke, when he was subbed off yesterday, Bobby Vincent tweeted out, Madueke not looking too pleased as he makes his way for Mudryk, Neto on the right now. Of course, when you're a top-level professional footballer, you're never going to be pleased when you're getting taken off. You're frustrated, you're annoyed, you feel that, did you do enough? And then you don't want to be subbed off. You want to be given that opportunity to make things right. But what happened here is, as you can see, Bobby Vincent put out the consequent tweet after that saying, in fact, he walked straight down the tunnel. Now, this I have a problem with, and I'm sure a lot of people have a problem with. At that moment, Chelsea were losing 1-0 against Arsenal. Madueke, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this guy, I got so much hate. I've always stated for the past, 1.5 seasons or so, since Madueke became a sort of a regular starter in the team, I said, look, there is some good about Madueke. There's no two ways about that. There's some certain skill sets that are fantastic, but overall, Madueke is not the level of winger that we need. And the heat that I got out of this, the insults that I got, was mad. I was like, I can understand if you're doing this if I'm backing Eden Hazard. Do you know what I mean? And people are if I'm actually not backing Eden Hazard, for example, I'm criticizing Eden Hazard level of a player. I can understand the fan base going after me, but someone like Madueke, we literally see what Pedro Neto is doing and what level we should be aspiring at Chelsea Football Club and what the levels used to be once upon a time. Madueke, really? We want to fight for Madueke because every now and then Madueke will drop that hat-trick or he'll drop that goal and then he'll disappear for 5-6 games. Anyways, nonetheless, Madueke this season under Enzo Maresca, he's actually been given a lot of game time. Premier League matches, he's there. He's there and Enzo Maresca is choosing him on a regular because he works hard off the ball. He does. There's no two ways about that. And I've said it many times as well that there's a reason why Madueke gets selected. One of the biggest reasons is his off-the-ball work rate. So there's no more excuses that you don't get any opportunities. You have been playing plenty of Premier League matches back to back. And you've been dropping stinkers back to back. And then every now and then you'll drop a very good game. For you to get all that trust from the manager, for you to then Storm off and go straight to the dressing room and not even be there for your team to support when we're losing 1-0. That's embarrassing. That screams to me utter selfishness. Excuse me. Recently, there was a lot of videos about Noni Madueke being selfish. Rival, content creators were putting out videos saying this guy is so selfish, and I consequently did a reaction video on it, and I kind of said that I don't think he's selfish. He's just someone who's just unaware what decisions to make in the final third. But now I'm actually starting to think you are selfish. You are. You can be upset for being subbed off. You can be upset. I'm not taking that away from you. But the fact that we were losing 1-0 and your team needs your support and you storm off and you go to the dressing room, what kind of message are you sending? That for me screams selfishness. That for me screams that you only care about yourself, Madueke. And now when I think about all the other shenanigans that you did at Chelsea Football Club already, last season, the penalty incident, when no one's going to forget the craziness you and Jackson did with Cole Palmer. I won't forget. You were sick, you were unfit, unwell, and you still went clubbing or you went partying. There was an incident about that under Pochettino. Pochettino didn't fancy you always either because of your attitude. Maresca as well. There was some, doubts prior to the season starting whether he's going to fancy you or not because we were linked with Olise. Madueke, I don't know what this player thinks of himself. Right now, he can't even take his man on. The one thing he's meant to be good with, which is dribbling and going past his man, he can't even seem to do that. He never had the crossing and the passing ability. Yeah, every now and then the odd pass here and there materializes and the fan base loses their head because of one action and they forget about the 10 or 15 other actions that has been abysmal. I've been backing Maresca in picking Madueke because I understand why he picks him for the work rate. But now it's come to the point where I would really love to see Enzo Maresca drop him and send a clear message to Madueke that, you know what? I think some level of complacency is, seeping in. Because Madueke is looking at his competition and he's thinking, no one's got the work rate as me. So Enzo rates that. No one else has that work rate. I'm going to be selected all the time. He needs to understand that he's not one of those untouchable players. Like Cole Palmer, for me, is probably untouchable. And even Cole Palmer is dropping some stinkers in recent times, but he's got credit in the bank. We'll see what happens down the track with Cole Palmer. I'm sure he'll come good. Cole Palmer's not that type of player who's egotistic. This player, I don't know where he gets this attitude from. He's got an attitude of Cristiano Ronaldo, and he plays like, honestly, I don't think he's any better than Miguel Almiron of Newcastle. I'm being serious. Attitude of an absolute superstar and the ball-playing ability of a very mediocre player. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I found this quite odd from Madueke to do this. And then Bobby Vincent, a matter of moments after Neto was moved to the right, he produces that moment of brilliance. You as a player, storming off and going straight to the dressing room, you missed an absolute banger of a goal from your teammate to level things up against a top quality opposition like Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. You missed out on all of that. You missed out. You missed out on the crowd celebrating. You missed out on your players celebrating. You missed out on that occasion. For what? For what? For your own peace of mind? I don't know. For your own selfishness? Quite mad. Rio Ferdinand, ladies and gentlemen, has also honed in on this one. Rio Ferdinand and Noni Madueke storming down the tunnel. It's disrespectful to your teammates. I think the manager protecting him is mad. That's a 2-week fine. And look, I mean, Enzo Maresca has handled that. I thought he handled that nicely. He could have gone in on it even more post-match. But he just said that, look, players are not going to be happy when they are substituted off, and Enzo Maresca was looking for a different solution, and the solution worked. With Pedro Neto on the right side cutting in. Nice little pass from Enzo Fernandez, by the way. I didn't fully notice it when I was watching it live, but looking at the replay, that was a lovely pass. I know a lot of people are saying just a normal pass, but I thought there was some sort of intelligence behind that. Finding that space, allowing Neto to come in. So yeah, that method, that change of tactics worked from Enzo Maresca. So he's been vindicated. He was right to take Madueke off. As I said, Madueke has been dropping stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. There's no more excuses. For me, ladies and gentlemen, I think he needs to go to the Conference League, and I think Pedro Neto probably now needs to move into that right side. And once Sancho is fit, I'd love to see Sancho on the left side, giving another option, another playmaking option, as opposed to Cole Palmer, just relieving his duties a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, let me know your thoughts in regards to Noni Madueke. Next up, Christopher Nkunku. As I said, the drama continues. And I'm not really shocked about any of these players going through these sort of situations right now. Manchester United have inquired about Christopher Nkunku, who is considering his future at Chelsea. He has no intention of playing second fiddle in the Premier League. This is coming from L'Equipe, which is a top French publication. Whether there is any truth behind it from the player's perspective, look, the way I always take this is where there's smoke, there's a little bit of fire. There's a little bit of fire. There's always some level of truth behind all of this stuff. Some level. Might not be a lot, but apparently his agents are doing all the talking, and it's not really the player. But ultimately, agents are the ones that control the player's movement. So if the agents are talking, yeah, you best believe the players. And look, this is not far-fetched at all. It's not one bit far-fetched. It's absolutely believable. Nkunku is not going to play Conference League level of football. I'm sorry, he's not going to do that. I like Nkunku as well. I really do appreciate his skill set. I like the qualities that he brings to Chelsea Football Club. Nkunku's situation is different to Joao Felix's one, and I'll tell you why down the track when I talk about Joao Felix. Nkunku is a manifestation of the circumstances that he's been put into. He's not someone who's been brought by the current directors, and he's not someone who's been brought under Enzo Maresca's management. Nkunku was brought in by our owners in their first year, all right? And then last season, he went through a lot of injuries, and we didn't get to see him. He was deemed as the savior, this, that, the other. It never happened. This season, I really did think under Enzo Maresca, Nkunku was going to become a big impact player. He was going to, have a huge season. I even went on and said he's probably going to be Chelsea's, player of the season. But it's clear to see Nkunku's best position, as well as Joao Felix, I believe he's just behind the striker. Nkunku's not so much of a half-space player. I think Joao Felix is more of a half-space player, whereas Nkunku is literally a second striker. He'll probably play just behind someone like Nicholas Jackson or any other top strikers. We don't have that. We don't have that position. We don't have a second striker position. We don't play in that system. If anything, the closest player to that is Cole Palmer. Enzo Maresca recently has also said he doesn't see Nkunku as an out-and-out striker. And it's true. We can all clearly see he's not an out-and-out striker. He's got good finishing. He's not an out-and-out striker. He doesn't have the same level of off-the-ball work rate like Nicholas Jackson does. And this is why Nicholas Jackson starts on a regular in the Premier League, and Nkunku is in that Mickey Mouse League. Because Enzo Maresca doesn't trust Nkunku's work rate. He doesn't believe. I'm pretty sure, look, we can sit here and argue about it all day long. I'm pretty sure Enzo Maresca probably notices all this in the training sessions. He can see that someone like Nicholas Jackson presses the way Enzo Maresca wants him to press and cuts off passing lanes the way Enzo Maresca wants him to do that. You start defending from the top. If you allow the opposition to seamlessly build up and just be all over our midfield and our defense. No, it all starts from the top. So Nkunku, ladies and gentlemen, is just, as I said, a manifestation of the circumstances that we find ourselves in. He's a misfit. Because instead of Nkunku, I think what Maresca needed was another striker. An out-and-out striker. There is no spot for Nkunku, unfortunately, under this current system so far, unless Enzo Maresca does something totally different. Until now, it's safe to say, from what Enzo Maresca has shown us, Nkunku does not fit. So for me, this is not too far-fetched. For me, this is not shocking. And I'll be absolutely open for him to leave. Honestly, I would be. For his own sake and for Chelsea's sake as well. There's no point in keeping a player who's on decent wages as well, I'm pretty sure, Nkunku, to stay at Chelsea Football Club and not have any level of impact. Coming off the bench with 5 minutes to go against Man United, sometimes not even coming off the bench in the Premier League. And he's definitely not going to be part of that B team that plays in the Conference League. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about Christopher Nkunku. I truly do believe he's a misfit, unfortunately. Christopher Nkunku is considering his future at Chelsea. Chelsea are understood to be willing to offers only if they can recoup his 52 million transfer fee in full. So we have to understand that this is his second season. So from an amortization point of view, I think it might have been a 5-year contract, perhaps. At 50 million, let's just say it's 10-year per season. So by the end of this season, honestly, book value wise, anything more than 30 million will balance the book out. Yeah, of course, he's worth a lot more than that. I don't see any reason why we can't recoup up to 52 million or even 60 million for someone like Nkunku. He's a quality player. The right system, the right team, the right environment, feeling important. I'm sure that level of money can be fetched. I just don't want him to go to Man United. I think someone like Nkunku going to Man United could actually bang. And Amorim could potentially like a player like Nkunku. I don't know. I've not studied Amorim that much, but he could potentially get the best out of Nkunku. I wouldn't like to see him go to Man United. I'd like to see him go somewhere else. Maybe in Spanish league, maybe in the German league again, or maybe even in the French league. But those teams will not be able to fork out this much money. In the Premier League, with Man United, you best believe we'll be able to fork that out. But I don't want him to go there. Let me know once again your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to Christopher Nkunku and his links to Man United. Are you someone who is upset about this situation? Are you someone who is open to letting him go? Let me know in the comment section. Next up, James was off the bench and onto the pitch for Neto's equalizer. Absolutely delighted. Felix and Vega looked ready to sprint towards the corner flag before deciding against it. Madueke, however, did not see the goal as he had disappeared straight down the tunnel. So not a good look on Madueke at all. Not a good look. And on top of all the online shenanigans that he does as well, yeah. Get serious, Madueke. Get serious. You're a selfish player. It's simple as that. Joao Felix now. Joao Felix conversation. Joao Felix tore his sock ties off in a show of frustration after Maresca's introduction of Nkunku for Jackson, knowing he wouldn't get on. This, ladies and gentlemen, is heating up. Joao Felix is someone who is not even featuring in the Premier League. He's getting named in the bench. It doesn't come off the bench at all. For the past, I believe, 4 Premier League games, he didn't feature. When we've needed to get a victory, he didn't feature. Now, a lot of people are looking at this situation and saying, Miz, this is not right. Enzo Maresca, when we need a solution, needs to bring on Joao Felix and let's see if he can get us a goal. My thought process is the other way. My thought process is, look at the state of this situation. Right? Look at the state of this scenario. Enzo Maresca needing a goal still won't bring Joao Felix on. What message is that sending to Joao Felix and to the sporting directors? It's clear as daylight. I don't think Enzo Maresca, in these early stages, he's only been the manager here for such a short time, has any agenda against Joao Felix. I wouldn't think he would have created some level of a base to to have an agenda against Joao Felix. I think it's purely because he doesn't rate the guy. We need a goal. He's looking at the bench and he's bringing on defenders as opposed to bringing on someone like Joao Felix. That's a clear message saying, yeah, I don't rate him, nor do I trust him. I rate him enough for Conference League. I rather stick with a injured Cole Palmer or a 50% fit Cole Palmer, hoping that he's going to come good and score a clutch goal any moment, as opposed to bringing on someone like Joao Felix. This is the message that Enzo Maresca is sending out. And once again, I probably am not too uncomfortable about this. I'm not. There's a reason. I like Joao Felix a lot. I do. But one has to ask the question, this guy doesn't seem to be able to tie down a position in any clubs. Misfit in Atletico Madrid. Couldn't get a move to Barcelona done on a permanent basis. Barca couldn't care less about him. Chelsea, the first time around, wasn't able to stick around. Now, this time around, I'm fully in the belief that we didn't actually want him. We didn't want Joao Felix. We were looking for Omar Dion. That fell off, and then we had to get Joao Felix done because, or else Gallagher wasn't going to be going to Atletico Madrid. Joao Felix is another player that, honestly, forget about off the ball. He's got off the ball issues just like Nkunku. Joao Felix doesn't work hard enough the way Maresca wants him to operate off the ball. Press, win duels, win the second balls. Frank Lampard had the same issues with Joao Felix. Diego Simeone had the same issues with Joao Felix. Xavi, after a while, did not use Joao Felix at Barcelona. But the problem isn't just off the ball. The problem is sometimes on the ball, where Joao Felix, I don't think sometimes he's serious, nutmegging players, this, that, the other. Yeah, it looks fine. But sometimes his off the ball, on the ball stuff is ridiculously poor too. There's a player right in front of him and he'll take a shot right at him. His vision is not always as great as someone like Cole Palmer. I agree. Maresca needs to maybe find a solution to get this player into the team. But I also understand what Maresca says. The defensive balance needs to be right. Right now, you got Cole Palmer in the half space and you got another fullback, maybe not even sometimes fullback, maybe the winger that gets into the half space and the fullback is overlapping because it's not always the fullback. But the bottom line is that the secondary half space is not given to someone like Joao Felix. Why? The defensive balance. When you do lose the ball, look at the way Pedro Neto works hard. Look at the way they work hard. Even Madueke, to a certain degree, he works hard. Not always at the best quality, but he works hard. Joao Felix, if he doesn't work hard, there'll be a big space open and opposition will fully take advantage of that. Football's too, in regards to details, it's all tactical these days. It really is. I'm sorry to say, it's not the same case 20 years ago. Now it's supremely tactical. Opposition teams will find out where the holes are, where the weaknesses are. And the Premier League is not a place to mess about. But this situation, I blame the sporting directors. I blame the sporting directors for getting us into this mess, because this is a player that I don't think was ever wanted by Enzo Maresca. And it's clear to see. It's clear to see. My whole problem, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up now. With all of these players that we have right now, Nkunku, Joao Felix, we haven't even mentioned some of the other nonsense players that we've got in the summer. Have we done the right thing by Enzo Maresca to have a season where he can truly develop and embed a philosophy and do something successful this season? I'm worried that in this phase after the international break, all of this stuff will only escalate a little bit more, and it may make it a lot difficult for Enzo Maresca to run his day-to-day business. I don't want any of these players to start to create a bad environment. Already there is the team A, team B, B team, A team scenario that's been established. And it's not been established by us. It's clear to see it's two different teams. But Maresca's done that because in the Premier League, we need certain type of players. In the Conference League, we can play other players. And then players need time, minutes, right? But I do blame the directors for influxing the team with all of these players and too many similar players. Too many players in the same positions. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. I hope Enzo Maresca finds a solution, but at the same time, I've got no issues about some of these players leaving the football club, and hopefully we find a solution for them. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Goodbye.